There's someone in your life you'd do anything for. You already know who they are. Maybe it's a parent whose health is declining. Maybe it's a partner who leans on you more than they realize. Maybe it's everyone. Your family, your friends, your co-workers. And you've become the person who holds it all together. And that devotion, that beautiful, exhausting devotion was quietly hollowing you out. You were taught that caring means giving. Always. That love means being available. Always. The good people put themselves last. And you believed it. Not because it's true, but because it felt noble. It felt like proof that you matter. Because somewhere along the way, you learned that your value is measured by how much of yourself you pour into others. Here's something uncomfortable. A 2025 survey of over 1,000 family caregivers in the United States found that 78% reported experiencing burnout. Not occasionally, many described it as a weekly occurrence. And alongside that burnout, 87% reported ongoing stress and anxiety. Not as a phase, as a way of life. But this isn't a video about statistics. This is about a pattern that runs much deeper. One that touches anyone who has ever confused being needed with being loved. And it's something a 2,500-year-old Chinese text understood with terrifying clarity. Chapter 11 of the Tao Te Ching, traditionally attributed to Lao Tzu, though historical authorship is debated, says something that most people read and immediately forget. Knead clay in order to make a vessel. Adapt the nothing therein to the purpose in hand, and you will have the use of the vessel. A bowl is not useful because of the clay, it's useful because of the space inside. The chapter gives 3 images: a wheel, a bowl, a room. The wheel turns because of the empty hub. The bowl holds because of the hollow within. The room shelters because of the open space between the walls. In every case, it's the nothingness, the void, the absence, that creates function. Now, apply that to yourself. If you've spent years filling every hour with someone else's needs, if your schedule, your attention, your emotional bandwidth is completely occupied, what space is left to receive anything? What space is left to rest? A bowl that is always full cannot be used. And a person who is always giving has no room left to hold what comes back. I know this because I lived it. For years, I thought being constantly available was a form of strength. I answered every call at 3 a.m. during dinner on the one day off I had. I absorbed every problem. And I called that love. But what I was actually doing was filling myself so completely with other people's weight that I forgot what my own emptiness felt like. I forgot what it meant to have space. Chapter 38 opens the second half of the Tao Te Ching, and it says something that should make every chronic giver pause. In Stephen Mitchell's translation, the master doesn't try to be powerful, thus he is truly powerful. The ordinary man keeps reaching for power, thus he never has enough. Now replace power with goodness. The person who doesn't try to be good, who doesn't perform care as identity, is the one who gives most naturally. Their giving flows without agenda, without scorekeeping, without the quiet hope that someone will notice how much they sacrifice. But the one who is always proving how much they give, they're caught in what the text calls the decline from Tao. First goodness, then morality, then ritual. And ritual, the mechanical, empty performance of caring, is where most of us get stuck. We go through the motions. We say yes when we mean no. We show up when our body is begging us to rest. And we call it virtue. There's a question I had to sit with for a long time, and it wasn't comfortable. Was I caring for everyone because I loved them? Because being needed was the only way I knew how to feel valuable? That question doesn't have a clean answer, and the Tao doesn't give you one. It just asks you to stop performing long enough to notice. In the Zhuangzi, the other foundational text of philosophical Taoism, there's a practice described in chapter 4 called Xin Zhai, which translates as heart fasting or fasting of the mind. It's not about food, it's about emptying your heart of the noise, the assumptions, the identities, the fixed roles, so that something genuine can come through. Not your idea of who you should be, not the version of you that everyone depends on, but something quieter. Something that was there before all the roles piled up. The Zhuangzi suggests that you can't truly hear another person or yourself if your heart is packed with obligations, guilt, and the story of who you're supposed to be. A cup that's already full can't receive, and a heart that's cluttered with duty can't hear what it actually needs. In my own practice, years of sitting, breathing, standing in stillness, I learned something that no book taught me. The hardest fasting isn't food. It's fasting from the need to be needed. Sitting there with nothing to fix, no one to save, and discovering that you're still here. That you're still whole. That you're still enough. Even when you're not useful to anyone. Notice your body right now, not what you think about what I've said. Wait, what your body is doing. Feel your jaw. Is it clenched? Your shoulders. Are they up near your ears? Your hands. Open or closed? If something tightened while you were listening, that's the part of you that knows this pattern. That's the part that's been holding. Here's what I want you to try. Right now or later today. 60 seconds, that's all. Cup your hands in front of you, palms up like you're holding a small bowl. Breathe in slowly, and as you exhale, imagine the bowl emptying, whatever you've been carrying. The obligations, the guilt, the weight of being everyone's anchor. Let it pour out. You don't have to name it. You don't have to understand it. Just let the bowl empty. One more breath. Inhale. And this time, as you exhale, let the bowl stay empty. Don't fill it. Don't rush to put something back. Just hold the emptiness. That space you feel. That's not absence. That's capacity. That's what chapter 11 is talking about. 3 small things for this week. Not to fix anything, just to notice. First, the next time someone asks you for something, pause before answering. 1 breath. That's the bowl making space before it receives. Second, find 1 commitment this week that you can say no to. Not because it's bad, because the bowl needs to empty. Third, ask yourself once before you help someone, am I giving from fullness or from habit? The Te Ching, chapter 11, ends with a line that most people skim past. Thus, what we gain is something, yet it is by virtue of nothing that this can be put to use. Everything you give has to come from somewhere, and that somewhere is not your exhaustion. It's your emptiness. This is not coaching. It's not a fix. It's an observation from someone who spent too long pouring from a cracked bowl and calling it strength. If this resonated, subscribe, not because you need more content, but because this kind of reflection is rare and worth protecting. And leave me something in the comments. Not a like, not an emoji. Tell me this. When was the last time someone took care of you and you actually let them? See you in the Tao within. Thank you for being here.